Yo, what's the word? What's happening? What's happening? I'm about to be playing some music. It's on my head because I'm gonna be live on all three today. Pretty soon we're gonna be live everywhere. I just cannot wait till that happens. Once that happens, it's over. But I hope everybody's having an amazing. What day is it? Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. We got a lot of stuff to ask. Like I got a lot of stuff to actually upgrade. I'm about because I with me wanting to create a beacon account, a beacon AI account. I couldn't somehow, but I think I can like put a VPN on and and put my location somewhere else because I can. What for some reason because I use a different like internet browser now. I did the change last night and I converted all my passwords and everything. I updated all my passwords. You should always do that like every 6 months. Like update your passwords every 6 months. That's what I did. Unless it's like unless it's like something very important, then you just change it every year. Like like and that could be like your email. Like my emails haven't been changed for years, but I changed it last night. I changed my emails, Kick, Twitch, YouTube. You know, YouTube's part of Google. I did majority of all of my changes. The it just feels good changing the stuff. Though. It feels good changing, but and so I changed that stuff. I changed the majority of my other stuff. So and now everything is like absolutely better. And everything the dude about internet was triple last night. Like I wasn't able to watch streams and nothing. Like my stuff was actually like bugging out. I don't know what was going on. And like, bro, when I was trying to watch streams, bro, it was just actually grimy because it would show the stream, then cut out, and I'm like, bro, what's really going on with my internet? Because I was watching like some like Disney stuff, like I was watching some Marvel stuff last night as well. It kept showing offline, and like you can still watch Disney and like watch movies, watch Disney stuff when you're offline, and it just kept popping up. Look, I was watching some Marvel stuff, dude, just trying to understand some stuff for me to talk about it today. Dude, there's some stuff that people think that they know and they don't know it because they don't pay attention to small details. Okay, look at this. I watch all the movies that's going to make sense. I'm about to go down the line again because I talked about this. I don't think people actually. Here you guys' homework. I need you to watch Loki 1 and 2, the series. No, watch Endgame. Watch Loki. season 1 and 2. So that's the whole thing. The Marvels, Ant Man, Quantum Realm, Days of Future Past, the new Spider Man. Like, there's movies that it's going to make sense moving forward after Doomsday and after Secret Wars. Because look, they are introducing the Mutant Saga. The Mutant Saga is going to be something that people are going to love. Because look, mind you, they introduced Jean Grey in the new Spider Man. They about to introduce Storm into the Black Panther 3. That's the reason why um that's the reason why Ryan Coogler wants to be in a room when they cast Storm. And so they don't have to keep two Storms on board. Because they are looking at two different people to play Storm. And both of these people are really, really good. They're looking at somebody who was in Jurassic Park, the new one. She was a pilot inside the new Jurassic World. Then they also looking at somebody that was a part of a project of with Michael with Ryan Coogler. Um, they are looking at somebody from Sinners. She was a singer, and she does have an accent. I'm not sure if they are giving Storm an accent, which is kind of I don't know because look, I watched Apocalypse last night and how Storm got her powers. No, how Storm they amplify her powers. That's the reason why she had the white hair. It was because of Apocalypse. In that version, it was because of Apocalypse. In the O2 version, she's actually just a mutant. We don't see how they got their powers. And I feel like watching those movies made me realize what's about to get ready to happen. Cause Spider Man was trying to do it to the Hulk and it couldn't stick to him. That same device with him helping from um, Far From Home with Doctor Strange and all of them. When he when when Tom Holland's version of Spider Man was helping out Doctor Octavius, Doc Ock, he put like he fixed that device that was on the back of his neck just to work the arms out, so he will be controlling it, not the arms controlling itself. That same thing, he was trying to put that thing on Hulk to calm him down, and it didn't work because Hulk's skin is like you can't pierce it. You can't like jab at him, and try to get it into him because his skin is way too tough. But that device is most important to remember because you got to remember how watching the newer versions of X-Men and watching Brave World, like Captain America Brave World, and watching Civil War, In Civil War, they only used that neck brace on Wanda, so she couldn't use her powers. Then you see that same neck brace in Deadpool 2 within that prison. When they put that neck brace on Deadpool, that stopped him from, like, you can stab him, shoot him, it might actually kill him. It That brace stops them from being a mutant more than anything. That's the reason why you saw, like, when you watch the X-Men movies or like even Deadpool, it stops them from doing what they were doing. That's the reason why, like, in Brave World, Brave World is very important because now somehow somehow they they're trying to connect stuff where it doesn't really need to be connected. Because if you haven't seen that, Mr. Blue, which is going to have a big role pretty soon, moving forward. Don't know how, but he's gonna have a big role because he's in the raft. And I know, like, people are talking about this with the new Spider-Man. Where did they take Hulk? Where did they take Bruce Banner? Like, even though they writing him off technically, because Mark Ruffalo, who plays Hulk, he's technically not with Marvel anymore over some issues. But just know, just watching those movies, you're going to understand the mutant saga so much more if you watch those movies. Now, Doomsday, when it comes to the multi-universe, watching Loki 1 and 2, the Marvels, Shang-Chi, Ant-Man Quantum Realm, Endgame, um, Captain America, Captain America, Brave World. Because look at this, in Brave World, Mr. Blue said he's coming. He's talking about Doctor Doom because he know. See, that's the part that, like, people probably didn't know that Mr. Blue, like, he some of the Hulk's blood got on him, so that's the reason why when you look at his head, he look disformed as I don't know what. So it's like he is very, very knowledgeable. Like, he did things in that with him, not him having the same technology or having the same, like, he read about it, but now he try to bring it back. It's like that movie he brought back, like, sleeper agents, and Bucky was a sleeper agent, and, like, wearing that neck brace stops. Like, once again, rocking that neck brace put them in a mental state of not them being mutants, or they can't use their superpowers. And, like, I'm real surprised that they didn't put one of them things on Sentry just to calm him down. But no, and it's like I just watching movies, bro. And what's so funny with me watching these movies, they always go back to it. these these liners, these one like these like quotes. If you want to call them quotes or call them like lines or like scripts, they always go back to it because look, the one script that they actually went back to, and I watched it, and now when I watched the trailer for Doomsday, it makes total sense. No. So in the line that I'm talking about, hold on, hold on. Um, the line that I'm talking about is when in Black Panther, no, in Wakanda Forever, right? Towards the end of it, what um what Namor said uh to his people, like, look, Black Panther could kill me, but he didn't because he had sympathy for our people because because Sherry saw his culture at a 100% going into the water to see the like how his people work and stuff like that. She saw all of that, so she didn't want to kill him and let his people like have an internally war. It would just be a continued war that would be going on, right? And so their alliance are like this, right? And he said they would need us at some point for something that's gonna happen to now to the future, right? Watch the Doomsday, watch the Doomsday trailer where the Fantastic Four meet up with the Wakandians, where you see Sue doing this and trying to freeze the water or like stop the water from touching them, or blocking Namor because Namor was swimming around them. And like, there's gonna be fights, bro. And these are like dream fights that you would think that we would never get. And that's the reason why it's like, dude, these fights are gonna be crazy because like, dude, look, I see. I'm going to show you. Let me see. We're actually about to watch the trailer again. What was it? Yeah, like they talking about that. Like they took Hulk. Look at this. They literally took Hulk to the raft. They like without me saying too much. They took. Look at this. Wherever they did, Hulk said the same line that he said in Age of Ultron when he changed back. But the way that he said it this time was like, oh, damn. Like, oh, that actually happened. Show you. Oh, this is moving actually quicker now. Dude, I just know something. You guys probably didn't see it. That might not, like, once again, there's rumors that they're saying that that is not. Yes, Steve Rogers, but it's not Captain America. It's Nomad. So, but look at this. So we just watched the trailer, right? Uh, uh, this is how funny this is, right? I was watching Wakanda Forever, right? If you guys haven't watched Thunderbolts, right? Watch Thunderbolts so you can see that other team where Bucky was. Bucky's with, like, it's like Bucky goes Yelena, the Red Guardian, Sentry, the Timu version of Captain America, um, and somebody else, right? And Wakanda Forever, the Wakandans almost got blamed for something that was and made Val, who played some major roles. She's she's more known for her stuff in Seinfeld. And Val is technically the one who started up the Thunderbolts, but now she's not the one that you should be looking at. But she's about to go after the wrong people. Her team, Val's team, like the Thunderbolts, was about to go after the Wakandians because after all the stuff that's been going on. So imagine going after the wrong people, which is Wakandians. So you going after the with me knowing Bucky was not gonna let that slide. Be like, oh, we're going after the people who just helped me get this arm. Because Shuri, no, Black Panther, like like Chad's character at the time at Infinity War, they gave him look. This is direct line, and I still remember this to this day. It is time to wake up the white tiger. Let's get him some new equipment. And they brought the arm to him, and Bucky literally said, "When is the war?" Black Panther said, "It's on its way." So they helped him get whatever that was inside his head that made him a sleeper agent, that made him Winter Soldier. They helped him. They freezed him for years to get that out of his head. He was living life of Wakanda. And they told him to get ready for battle. And that's what's crazy. Like you going to start something with the Wakandians, and that was gonna be crazy. But now going back to this trailer says a whole lot because you hear Thor, right? It's gonna be a miracle, right? What if I told you what's coming? What Thor wanted, what he was going for. I'm trying to see if I can actually find it because like this is what he was actually like going for, but this is not gonna happen just now. Like the whole thing, like what he was asking for, and I know what's about to get ready to happen because when he was inside the woods, and this is actually one of the trailers. Let me see. Like this. Now watch this.
Defeat one more enemy and return home to her. Not as a warrior, but as warmth. To teach her not battle, but stillness. The kind I never knew. Please, Father, heed my words.
So what Thor was asking for was the army because mind you what he said in the actual Doomsday trailer. He said, "Look, I fought with warriors that was stronger than this one." He wasn't talking about the Avengers. He was talking about his own people. And look at this. And the people that I'm talking about was this. Wait, when Thanos did what he did, when Thanos did what he did to Hulk, like he nerfed him. Like everybody that was on this
Imagine
ship.
being able to build an app with your name on it,
Hold on.
just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
The Tesseract.
And I'm talking about everybody that was on the ship.
I assume you have a preference.
No, I do. Kill away.
We don't have the Tesseract. It was destroyed on Asgard. You really are the worst, brother.
I assure you, brother, the sun will shine on us again.
Your optimism is misplaced, Asgardian.
Well, for one thing, I'm not Asgardian. And for another, we have the Hulk.
Look at this. So everybody that was on that ship. Actually, not technically not everybody that was on the ship, right? Look at this. The people who he was talking about, from what he was talking, like literally. I'm trying to find it. So we might be getting a whole another hammer. Okay. And in the first Thor, right? Thor had a team. He had like warriors, right? He was talking about those warriors, by the way. He was talking about those warriors, including with Heimdall. That's the reason why there's a rumor saying that they might actually come back. But it's gonna be a variant of them coming back. So the variant, they might not do bring them back, but there's a certain, if you ever watched like Loki, when Loki got put into the void, he met variants of himself. There was a kid, there was an old dude, a brother, an alligator. Mind you, something else too that they showed, and it was like Easter egg that were literally connected to. When they was going down like this two, like the shelter, and you look in the dirt, they had one of Thor's. It's like a smaller version. It's like a kid size like helmet that had like the wings onto it. Like he actually wears that helmet. It's like this one. If you guys can see it, hold on. Let me pull it up. It's like this one, like what he wears in this. Let me see if I can find it, because he doesn't really wear. He wears it in Ragnarok when he's fighting the Hulk. but just know how things are about to become with that because I know what's about to get ready to happen there. Like I said, this is this is what we call if if you ever played GTA RP and there's people just RPing us, the back door. This is going this whole the whole beginning of this movie is about to be a whole backdoor situation. Because if you ever read the comic books, Doctor Doom actually helps everybody that we saw at the trailer in Doomsday. He helped the Fantastic Four. He helps the Avengers. He helps the X-Men. He helps because that's the only that's the only three groups that's in this movie. There's nobody else. There's only these three groups. X-Men from 10025, I think. Earth 616, Earth 823, 825. I forgot. But that one is X-Men. That's X-Men. That's like Toby Spider-Man. That's the reason why like the fight scenes are going to be so good because there's a rumor has it Toby's Spider-Man is in this, but he's going to be fighting against, and this is the reason why Deadpool is going to be in this movie just for a short time. Him and Wolverine about to have a short time. Them three are going to be fighting, trying to stop the incursion because there's an incursion that's happening. That's the reason why Patrick Stewart, aka Professor X, is doing what he's doing. He's in fear because he sees another world crashing into theirs, and that other world is Earth 616. That's the reason why we see like somehow we don't know how, like we kind of know how, because mind you, let me rewind this back. The reason why Shang-Chi is in this movie and you don't see some other heroes that you would never thought that you would actually technically see again, like Shang-Chi. The reason why Shang-Chi is there, they're fighting in the they might be fighting in uh the Sanctum in New York. But once again, and this is a proven fact, you don't hear if there's stuff happening inside the sanction, you can't hear it outside of the sanction. So they're fighting, and that's the reason why we see Shang-Chi and Gambit fighting. And I just realized something. Technically, and this is what's going to happen too. Doctor Doom needs a couple of things to create Battle World and take control of it. And that's the reason why this is about to be devastating. Right? But logically speaking, if Shang-Chi really wanted to go toe to toe, 1-on-1 with Doctor Doom, Shang-Chi can kill him single handedly with no help. Shang-Chi's like the rings alone are thousands of years. Them things came from thousands, and I put that with an S on the end of that. Like them things are old, and so he can single-handedly kill him. But in the comic books, Doctor Doom does take those rings. He used the power from the rings to do what he has to do. And that's the reason why, like I said, like this is gonna be a backdoor situation. Because Doctor Doom, he's gonna help build. If you ever saw Fantastic Four, I'm not gonna spoil it. But Doctor Doom, he's going to help build something that Reed did in the Fantastic Four. But Doctor Doom, he's going to take a side quest. And he's going to go after somebody, not going to say who, but he does kill him. I'm not going to say who, but that's the reason why we see Thor trying to take out Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom stopped him with just 2 fingers. Thor is going after him because of one thing. Because look at this. This is not a spoiler. This is just how things present himself. When you watch the trailer, when Loki is looking like he's looking from a distance and he's looking at his card, he is outside of Steve Rogers' house. Steve Rogers is, I want to say that he's married to the Peggy Carter. They have a son named James, and from that scene, is like that glow is a sun. That's the reason why it looks like that. Cause that sun is going to take out whatever universe that they're in. Somehow, what's the words I'm looking for? Somehow Loki's is going to warn him, like, I need to move you because I see the kind of life that you have here is so good. I don't want this to happen to you. Without telling him too much. So they move Captain America. Now Steve Rogers at the time to the Fantastic Four universe. Okay? Mind you, on the Fantastic Universe, I think it's only dumb. Because, mind you, this is the 60s. It's probably like the 70s now or 80s now. In terms of like timeline, it's probably the 70s or 80s. They move Steve Rogers' family to that universe because, look, they have nothing to deal with. Because they sent somebody across so many universes that he cannot come back to. He try to fight the Fantastic Four. The only thing that I don't really understand is how when the Fantastic Four was walking off their ship, I don't know how Thor got there. because technically Thor it should be like coming alone because he was like doing the ritual thing technically, but this is how Marvel does their editing. They take out people. They edit people out because we're supposed to see the Fantastic Four. We already see Thor, and we're supposed to see Steve Rogers there. Or see somebody else. Because technically, like, that's the reason why you see Thor says it's impossible. Because, look, Thor knows that he went back to Return of Stones and he did not come back the way that he wanted to. Steve Rogers came back as an old man. And Steve Rogers has long hair like he had in Infinity War. Like, bro, like, are you sure that this is our Steve Rogers, our own Cap? And that's the reason why he's trying to like question that. He was actually questioning that. That's the reason why he did this just to see. But I think I like if I'm looking very closely, Steve Rogers' eyes went all the way black. So I'm pretty sure either that's him or a scroll. Even though they're not gonna push scrolls in this. But yeah, that's gonna happen. We know that Shang-Chi's rings are very powerful. And that's the reason why, like, this whole thing is about to be crazy. And and there's another thing too, like on inside the comic books. From what I know, Steve Rogers get captured, and Doctor Doom actually messes with his mind and like present like Peggy Carter there to convince him to fight with Doctor Doom. Even though Doctor Doom already got like a team building right now. Like he has Doctor Strange. At this point, like he's gonna have Doctor Strange on this team. A different version of the Hulk. A, he'll have multi universes of different characters. I think the last piece that he's actually looking for is a version of Steve Rogers, and that's Captain Hydra. Like we are already going to get Nomad, but I think we are going to get like Captain Hydra too. And so, and like that alone is going to be crazy. That's going to freak out the fans inside the movie theaters. To be honest with you, that's going to freak everybody out. That's a guarantee that that's going to freak everybody out. Like this dude, like he always put videos out. Like I watch the majority of his videos, but I know that he's doing straight Spider Man. But you want me to tell you something though? With me watching X-Men like Apocalypse, we kind of see that X-Men like this wasn't was not a mistake because they kind of already put some of the characters that they had back then into this. That's the reason why X-Men is going to be very important to watch. But yeah, now done of like talking about Doomsday because can't really say too much because I kind of know what's about to get ready to happen, and this is what's going to create. Because look, we're going to get introduced to some characters, and they're going to bring back characters, but their main focus for Comic Con was to introduce the stuff that they wanted to do, right? The Three Witches. What if I told you? What if I told you them three witches? We kind of met them already. Like the colors, right? The purple could be Celeste, which showed up at the Doctor Strange Madness. She was rocking purple. The gold could be the Ancient One, who also was in the first Doctor Strange and part of Endgame. Green could be um the female Loki. I forgot her name. I keep forgetting her name. But she played in the Loki series as the female version of Loki. Or that could be somebody totally different. But they also said that could be Death. It might be a red one, and her name is Death. If Death shows up in this, it's game over. Because Death is in the comic books, she's the she's the love interest for Thanos, but they didn't want to introduce that, which is crazy. Y'all don't understand how powerful that would be. Now with me, like moving on from there, like the reason why like I'm doing this, so there's a lot of stuff that's about to get ready to happen in this, and Secret Wars. Secret Wars. Look at this. Think of it. Think of it this way. Look at all the characters that they introduced to us, and more besides the main characters. So yes, we are gonna see the X-Men, Avengers, wherever's left from Doomsday. Let's say that this is going to bring in the Strange Academy champions, aka Young Avengers, whatever Spider-Man that they can bring in, which is Toby's. No, they're gonna bring in Tom Holland's Spider-Man because the way that they gonna do that, that's about to be some crazy stuff. Who else? Like, like anybody that they did not use or they want to like repackage, right? They might be giving us the new X-Men in this one as well. I say might because that's a long if. But they gonna give us characters that we haven't seen in so long in Secret Wars. Cause mind you, it, and just just like how Thanos won the whole fight in Infinity War, this is not going to be a cakewalk. Yeah, Doctor Doom, he's going to lose, but this is not the last that we are going to see him. Because why would you want to kill off the new big bad to do something else? Even though we're gonna be dealing with mutants, I think it would make sense for us to keep Doctor Doom in the loop. But they probably gonna kill him because, mind you, how things are working right now. There's a time, like so Doomsday's trailer. There's a timer, and they got 3 worlds coming together. One of those worlds are gonna get taken out. That's already been said. Like everybody knows what world that's gonna be, and it's gonna be the X-Men. That's the reason why, like, you kind of see Professor X and Magneto. They're kind of like worried, and you kind of see, like I said before, there's only one way to like bring back like the fans back into this series. They would have to, and Deadpool been pushing for this. This is the reason why we kind of see Wolverine rocks the old colors, and Deadpool and Wolverine. We're gonna see Toby and Wolverine gonna be fighting. Um, but that world, and that's the reason why we see Gambit fighting Shang-Chi. And they said like the reason why the explosion happened on the stairs, like that scene, is because Beast made a bomb and it blew up the stairs. And you see like there's gonna be fights in this one because the reason why the X-Men is there, the X-Men, they just pop up. They pulled up on them saying like, what you doing? We've been dealing with this for so long. Why is this happening again? X-Men's been dealing with incursions so much that they got tired of the bull. And like they've been dealing with multi-universe because, like, once again, if you watch the X-Men, like all the X-Men movies, the O2 to the now, like the current X-Men that we have now before the reboot happens, like Patrick Stewart and I forgot the new Professor X of that era right now. Like they already know each other. Magneto and the other Eric, they already know each other because they had one of X-Men. I forgot which one it was. They already met each other. What was I saying? But yeah, we kind of already know the fight scenes that are going to be in this, and we know who's going to have the utmost like who's going to be winning these fights. They're not going. There's no depth between the fight scenes, but just know um one thing about Cyclops, he wins his. Nightcrawler loses his. And it seems like it's the X-Men and the New Avengers are the only ones that's gonna be fighting. Because the New Avengers and Fantastic Four, they understand themselves. They understand what's going on, and like the whole line is like, don't let the hate flow through you or something like that. Because we know what Bucky been through, we know what everybody else has been through, so they're not gonna be fighting. But when I say the new Avengers and X-Men, they duking it out before Dr. Doom gets back and trying to flip the script on everybody, that is crazy work. Like he flips the script so much that it's actually crazy. And what's up and what's insane too, so and what's so crazy too, and this popped up on my thing, right? Let me see. This pops up on my thing every time. Every morning, this pops up on my thing. Watch this.
So you want to start a podcast, but you're not sure how. Riverside's got you covered. First, go to riverside.com and open an account. And when you're ready to record,
The exiled one has fallen. The one who called himself He Who Remains no longer guards the flow of time. Our shadows recede. And now, the multiverse shall behold its true sovereign. Kill him! What have you done?
I removed the noise. Where is it?
It's no longer under our control. A throne beyond time.
Give me a name.
Loki. I can help you.
I don't think so.
And this is the reason why I say that something big is going to happen, and this is going to be the reason why Thor kind of crashes out, trying to kill Doom. It's because of this. I think this actually happens. I think they might actually put this in the movie to show us what really, like, I know something's going to happen to Loki because, like, and this is going to be like, even though I know Loki is probably still sitting on that throne trying to make sure Curtis is not happening. There, he's just trying to make sure everything is stay put. He's trying to make sure everything is okay because something tells me if this goes left, then it's not gonna be anywhere countable. And like the fact that we kind of like see this on the forefront like this, which is going to show us Doctor Doom's gonna go after Loki, and it's only for one thing. And look, when I tell you this, and this is not me saying like what's gonna happen, because they like the script is out, but they not people are not sure if they said take this with a grain of salt, but like something's gonna happen to Loki to make Thor crash out like that, and it's gonna be because of Doctor Doom. And like once that actually happens, dude, it's about to be criminal. And it's not gonna be what you think it's gonna be. Cause of the comic book, that actually happens. If you ever, cause there's different comic books, right? There's different versions of every comic. Like with the whole thing with Spider-Man, right? I think it's like 6 different or like 5 different comic books where they base Brand New Day based off of. They grab different parts of that comic book and pins at the movie. That's the reason why Marvel is going by the comic books with everything. That's the reason why like people are making these TikToks and they're saying for DC to come back, they need a big bad. They need a big bad to carry the franchise. The fact that Marvel have multiple, even though 2 of them are dead, this is the next big bad, and we better be able to see the next one after this. Like that, I hope they don't kill Doctor Doom off because he's a peak villain. But like I said, with DC to come back, they need to do something that they never did before. But yeah, this is gonna be a different ball game, dude. It's gonna be a crazy one. Because the fact that it's like Doctor Doom took out, I hope that this scene is in there. Because technically, it's at the comic books, whatever they were building, Doctor Doom said, I need to travel somewhere to see something. And he went to go see Loki. These fan-made stuff is so funny. Like, this is not real, by the way.
Why didn't you save us, Mr. Summers?
What do we do? Everyone, gather around.
I'm curious, like, what this is though, because this is not going. This is what's gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen. Like, this is. It is going to happen like that, but not exactly like that. Because just know, and I'm about to say it just like I told my mom. Dr. Doom gonna get belt to ass. He's about to get belt to ass. This is gonna be the definition of that term. That's the term of the GTA RP terms, like B2A, belt to ass. Because I think Thor is gonna get another hammer though. I think the same thing will happen to the hammer that technically Steve. That's another version. There's like two versions of his first hammer. The one that got shattered, and the third one by his sister. She did this and like broke it. That's one version. And you got the OG, which Steve Rogers has, right? Then you got Stormbreaker. Stormbreaker is the strongest hammer that can go through pretty much a lot of things. But I think he does get another hammer because there's a scene in there though. It might be kind of brutal. They might actually change the rating for Doomsday because on like how much carnage is gonna be in it. But what this shows me though, what this trailer shows me is that that some of this is actually true. Like this is gonna be a major loss. This is about to be the most biggest major. This is gonna be a big loss for them because, like we all know that the X-Men might die in this one. Every X-Men member is going to die in this one, but they are going to keep a few of them alive to basically mentor the newer ones that are coming in, like Mystique, Cyclops, Nightcrawler. They might not kill off Gambit yet because with me knowing that they still want to make a Gambit movie, but they still haven't made that. That's one been in the books for years. Just like how I'm not gonna talk about it because it's a major topic that's going on right now in terms of. I'm not gonna say too much, but yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff happening in this. I just cannot wait till it actually comes out. But now the conversation, there's a funny conversation that everybody's having right now. Like, how in the world are we having a Doctor Doom that gives belt to ass to everybody, and past two Doctor Dooms got his butt handed to him and he died. It's like it's like make it make sense, bro. Like make it make sense. Dude, I cannot wait till Street Fighter come out. Yeah, I'm talking about this right here. Like all this is gonna be this all connected to Doomsday. These end credits.
Pushed his way out and he was a butterfly.
You have to return the stones to the exact moment you got them. You're going to open up a bunch of nasty alternative realities. All right, we'll meet you back here, okay?
You bet. Where is he?
I don't know. He blew right by his timestamp. He should be here.
Hey, pal. It's not possible.
Where's Loki?
Hands up. You're coming with us.
Now get out of my way. I know what kind of god I need to be. For you. For all of us.
Everything that they sacrifice will be for nothing.
They're not vibranium. Chitauri?
Not like any alien tech I've seen.
The first time you used the rings, we felt it in Kamatage.
They're sending a message.
A message to where?
Dr. Strange?
Can I help you?
You caused an incursion, and we're gonna fix it.
Not in the least. Okay, now you see the aliens down there, the stripy ones?
Two warriors. They have traveled far and have been given many names. But to those who know them best, they are simply known as love and...
I'm not gonna lie, you that's about to be crazy. Because look, the Young Avengers, when that shows up, guys, this is about to be insane work, bro. This wireless keyboard is terrible. The Young Avengers is about to be everybody's favorite, right? they haven't done anything with this. Ooh, let's watch a concept like trailer for it.
Welcome to Wix Harmony.
Like
Take
what
the
could
speed of
what
AI
could
and
possibly
base level
happen
control.
if they actually did
To
it?
go from words into a full website.
You about to
that's
watch
entirely
something
yours to
if
shape.
they actually
Need a new
decided to
page,
do it.
section, or a restyle? Ask.
When the world's greatest heroes fall silent, their legacy does not end, it awakens. Across cities, shadows, and broken skies, a new generation answers the call. Strangers bound not by fame, but by courage. They come together cautiously, learning each other's strengths, testing trust, realizing the weight of the symbol they now carry. Training becomes survival, preparation becomes obsession, and mistakes are paid for in blood and sacrifice. As the enemy reveals itself and the war begins.
Oh, that was actually terrible. Nah, I'm not gonna lie to you. From what I know, and this is from what I know, and this is the reason why this might be a good movie. This might actually, the Young Avengers being an actual thing might be the most coolest concept, right? So we saw Cassie, we saw Kate. Not really Spider-Man. Spider-Man's not part of this. Um, well, hold on, I'm trying to see if there's like some. See, this might actually happen. Whatever is in this trailer is gonna happen. But this might be
The Young Avengers are dead.
Without me,
I'm not clickbaiting you. I'm
without me
telling you
showing
the
this.
reality of the MCU slate right now. Avengers the Kang Dynasty is scrapped. Blade is in development hell. And the Young Avengers movie you've been waiting for since Endgame, it has no director, no release date, and no script. But if you think that means the team is canceled, you aren't paying attention. The project isn't dead. It's been weaponized. Marvel has executed a silent architecture shift to turn this Disney Plus side project into the most critical tactical unit in Secret Wars. The movie is gone, but the champions are rising. Today we break down the rebrand, the 3 missing heavy hitters, and the secret plan to save the Avengers from Doctor Doom. Here's why Marvel is ditching the Avengers name, and it's brilliant. In the MCU, Avengers means government oversight. It means the
like, besides what this dude's talking about, like you see the characters, you see Chavez. If you ever watched the Disney Plus series, this is a good example of you knowing who these characters are. The only one who, so you got Miss Marvel, Chavez. You have the twins from Wanda, Kate Bishop, who's the younger. She's been taught by Hawkeye to use the arrow. Then the characters that you seen but not seen. So in She-Hulk, Hulk has a son. Then Love, who Thor's taking care of. Then Humdall has a son who showed up at the Love of Thunder. He's training to be a fighter in Love of Thunder. Heimdall's son. Then you got Ironheart. Ironheart. She's she's made Iron Man type of things, but she's in Chicago. So that is gonna be crazy. And that's the Young Avengers. Now, if they do this correctly, they can make that either a series or a movies. Them getting to know each other because Miss Marvel already did that. Let me see something. Miss Marvel did what Tony and Sam did at the end of the movie. Like this right here. This was a big moment, and the fans got way too hyped for it, and now that we didn't get it.
Pizza delivery. Whew. Can I help you?
Kate Bishop. Did you think you were the only kid superhero in the world?
I'm 23.
Oh, I know. I've been reading up on you.
Where did you get that?
I found it on my couch.
Okay.
You've just become part of a much larger universe. Which, at the moment, is just me, mostly. I do have feelers out, though. Did you know Ant-Man had a daughter?
What do you want?
I'm putting together a team. And I want you on it. Please?
See, that's a big moment, bro. The fact that that just happened is so crucial, right? That is crucial. That's the definition of like, okay, we know that something's gonna be coming, but they failed to give us that. But now they actually are coming back to like, oh, now that we kind of like rebooting everything, let's come back to that now. Because look, you heard them. I've been reading up on you, but did you know Ant-Man had a daughter, and that's Cassie? She has the exact same. If you saw Ant-Man Quantum Realm, you saw her. She has her own suit. She knows how to fight. Possibilities there. And the fact that she didn't say this, it'll be kind of cool that when she said Cassie's name, she was literally said like, there's some twins. No, there's like one person. Cause technically, if you ever saw not WandaVision, but the same universe of that with Agatha, with Tommy, she got he got same powers as Wanda, but different. It would be kind of funny if she like said, "Okay, did you know that Wanda had twins or had a son?" That would be cool. Or her having like different, because do it just like, look, when Tony was doing research, When Tony was doing research on people, right? You see like who they were. Where is it? Research on the Avengers. Let's see if I can actually spell. When he was like looking up these characters, like that scene was actually like really peak at the time. Like when he was like seeing what he can like come up with. When Nick Fury was like when Nick Fury like gave him that thing. Where is it? Was it this?
Too much to
I
do?
think it's this. I
Let
think it's this. I
Gemini
think
and
it's this.
Chrome handle it. Let's start here.
How you gonna resign? I don't accept.
Yeah, you could literally have it just like this, and that's what they was going for with the Young Avengers with her, because she had the tablet. She would just have to pop up on like somehow she would have to pop up wherever Tommy is in that one city. Somehow find out on the new Asgard to find love. The only one that's gonna be tricky because he's not technically born yet and he's not a teenager yet is Frank Reed, the son of Reed and Susie. Because he's technically a part of this, the Young Avengers. But if they do it like this, how Tony did his research, that would be crazy.
Think I want you looking at that. I'm not sure it pertains to you anymore. Now this, on the other hand, is Agent Romanoff's assessment of you. Read it.
Personality overview. Mr. Stark displays compulsive behavior. In my own defense, that was last week. Prone to self-destructive tendencies. I was dying. I mean, please. And aren't we all? Textbook narcissism. Agreed? Okay, here it is. Recruitment assessment for Avenger Initiative. Iron Man, yes. I gotta think about it.
Read on.
Tony Stark not recommended? That doesn't make any sense. How can you approve me but not approve me? I got a new ticker. I'm trying to do right by Pepper. I'm in a stable-ish relationship.
Which leads us to believe at this juncture we'd only like to use you as a consultant.
You can't afford me. Then again, I will waive my customary retainer in exchange for a small favor. Rhodey and I are being honored in Washington, and we need a presenter.
See what I can do.
Like that. If you want to give us the new Avengers, give us something that was peak at that time. Have her literally do research on these people, reboot how she did it by going to each area, like that. Like, even though we're not gonna get certain characters, like we're not gonna get Shuri, we're not gonna get Black Panther. We might get like a version of that, but not theirs. Like, and look at this, they could do. They could do the same thing with Avengers did. They could do like the villain of that could be the kid Loki. They could do that. But even though it's not gonna be the same, it's not. It's literally not gonna be the same though, because Kid Loki actually has a mind now, saying like this is all bad, like we shouldn't be doing bad stuff. So they could have him join the group. Like, there's so many options that they can do, and it's actually crazy that I'm talking about it, because they just confirmed that they actually are thinking about redoing it, and they also think about doing like Strange Academy. Strange Academy is Dr. Strange school of the Mr. Arts of like what he does. Like, not the sling ring stuff. That's already at school. I'm talking about what he actually does. Like, they think about doing that. They, like I said, they might not even touch that one. They might not even touch the Young Avengers, bro. Cause Secret War starts the whole thing with the mutants, right? Let me see something. I had to go back to YouTube. I'm about to show you some stuff. My frames just drop every time I go to the internet, bro. I hope you guys are having a good day. Like, all face. Okay, I can just show this dude right here.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app with Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible. Marvel Studios has just announced new MCU projects, but they also canceled some MCU projects as well. What is going on, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel today. We got 11 projects to go over that are currently in development at Marvel Studios right now, and they are all confirmed by Marvel in one way or another. So let's not waste any time. Let's dive into what's up and coming for Marvel Studios. Now, this one doesn't really count for my 11. I'm not counting it, but Spider-Man Brand New Day is in theaters right now. So if you haven't seen that yet, this would be one. This would count, right? So Spider-Man Brand New Day, it's already broken Avengers Endgame records, which is crazy.
Yep, they already
domestically
already broke it.
I've seen it. I personally loved it, but go ahead and watch it for yourself. If you have seen it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Now, speaking of Endgame, the next project after Spider-Man Brand New Day is actually Avengers Endgame Encore. This is coming out September 25th, 2026 this year, obviously, and there is going to be new footage including what we are hearing is a new post-credit scene. But the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige have come out and said, yes, there is going to be new footage that directly connects to the story of Avengers Doomsday. So, of course, the next project after, or I should say the next movie after that would be Avengers Doomsday. The next project after that is actually Vision Quest, October 14th, 2026. Vision Quest is something that I've personally been really excited for, and even more now because Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios at SDCC, said that Vision Quest is the finale in the Wanda trilogy. So it is going to relate to Wanda. We do know that both of her children, her reincarnated children, are going to be in this, Billy and Tommy, or as their superhero names are, Wiccan and Speed. And of course, Vision is returning, and he should be getting back all of his memories that the old Vision had, essentially making him the exact same Vision, kind of ish, mostly, that we've known basically throughout the Infinity Saga, which all is leading to a family reunion with Wanda, which we're hearing is probably going to happen not in Doomsday, unfortunately, but in Avengers Secret War. So this will be really interesting to watch, really exciting, and really curious to see kind of how they wrap it all up and how they put Wanda into this. So Vision Quest, October 14, 2026. And then, of course, Avengers Doomsday, December 18th.
And you heard them just say it. I know that this is going to be a thing, right? Dr. Doom is going to figure this stuff out. And I hope that they actually show it by the end of the freaking movie. Because this is going to, with him making Battle Wars, him bringing back Wanda. Somehow Wanda's going to come back. And this is going to be some crazy stuff because, once again, she's going to come back as Scarlet Witch. Once again. And that's going to be devastating because, like I said, it's going to include every... Secret Wars is going to include every hero who didn't have a role in Doomsday. That's the reason why they changed the ending of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Tom Holland's going to show up in Secret Wars. Not from the suit that you saw him in. He's going to have the symbiote. Because Doomsday is going to play the role of Apocalypse. Doomsday is going to do the same thing what Apocalypse did for Storm, Magneto, Angel. And I forgot her name. She had the freaking sword, and the sword was very, very powerful. And technically, he kind of did the same thing for Professor X, but not giving him full power. Dr. Doom is going to present him, trying to make Tom Holland fight with him instead of against him. So he's going to give him a new suit. Either that's going to be a storyline or the symbiote is going to find him and have him show up. Because mind you, how the ending, how stuff goes.
2026. This is the big one. This is what everybody has their eyes on. Spider-Man, I feel like it's its own entity. It was going to be big no matter what. Spider-Man is like the most popular hero of all time. So I feel like no matter what, that was going to do big. People are really looking at Avengers Doomsday to see if Marvel can still carry it. I think they can, of course. I have seen, of course, the official trailer they've released, but I've also seen the trailer that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con. And honestly, even though it was leaked, that one blew my mind. I can't wait till they release that to the public. That one's going to be crazy. So December 18th, Avengers Doomsday, Robert Downey Jr. returns to the MCU as Victor Von Doom. Then after that, March 2027, Daredevil Born Again Season 3. And this one's going to be really interesting because it takes place between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And we're pretty sure that a new universe, a new multiverse really, is going to be created at the end of Avengers Doomsday. So how does Daredevil Born Again Season 3 fit into all of this? That's something that we're all wondering right now. They're probably just going to say that it took place before Avengers Doomsday. That's what most of us are thinking. But you never know. You never know. But I would
it's gonna
totally
be a new
count on it taking
villain,
place
dude.
before
We might
Avengers
actually
Doomsday.
get
I loved Season 1 and Season 2.
we're gonna get
Cannot
all
wait
new
for
characters
Season 3.
in
Defenders
Daredevil.
fans should be really happy about it. Then, of course, Avengers Secret Wars. This one's a big one. This is December 17th, 2027. This is huge because it's going to give us a new universe. Now, at SDCC and throughout all of the interviews that Kevin Feige is doing right now for Spider-Man Brand New Day, he did some interviews before SDCC. He did some after SDCC. He did some in Shanghai at a big convention they had there. He confirmed this is a new universe. Going to be part of the old universe, but then the new one that's coming is also going to be completely fresh at the same time. So we're bringing in some continuity, but we're also bringing in kind of a fresh slate, a blank slate for the X-Men, for the new Fantastic Four. And I am talking about the new X-Men. So this is a big one. Everyone's got their eyes on this because it's going to give us a new MCU. And we're kind of wondering what that's going to look like. Then we have Ghost Rider. 2028, probably mid-2028. They did confirm just 2028 in general, have not confirmed the exact date, but we're thinking mid-2028. Ryan Gosling has been cast as Ghost Rider, if you have not heard. I personally really like that decision. I would say I love it. Let me know what you think about that in the comments.
I wrote a podcast solo. No producer, no editor, no tech skills, just Riverside.
I get high quality podcast recordings right from my room. And I'm not
In the comments. So we're getting a Ghost Rider movie finally. We're not getting Blade. Blade has been canceled. If you haven't heard, it is
that's
officially
crazy.
canceled. Kevin Feige did say that he feels like a failure that they couldn't get it right, but Mahershala Ali, who was going to play Blade, recently said this. You had me under contract. They have billions of dollars. If they wanted to do the movie, we would have done the movie. I feel ready to move on from the Blade questions. Those questions are for them, meaning those questions are for Marvel. So, seems like it really wasn't Mahershala Ali's fault. It seems like he really wanted to do it. They did put him under contract, and Kevin Feige said they couldn't figure it out. And yet he did say that he felt like a failure that they couldn't get it done.
This though, but look at this though. From what I read, if you're trying to be a part of Marvel, you have to drop every role. You can't play nothing else. And the fact that 7 years went by, and like with me knowing that he played in Hunger Games, he did a few other roles between then and now, like bro. And Blade never happened. That's crazy.
This might be, I will say, this might be a little bit, this might be trying to trick us just a little bit because we know Ghost Rider's coming and we know the Midnight Suns are coming. They were actually supposed to shoot Blade and the Midnight Suns back to back with the same director. So although the Blade movie might not be happening, Midnight Suns we know is going to happen and Blade could be a part of that team. In fact, Blade should be a part of that team. Maybe Mahershala Ali is just, kind of tricking us and he knows he's going to be in the Midnight Suns and then could get a Blade movie after that. Or maybe they're going to get a new Blade. I'm not sure. I think Mahershala Ali was a perfect casting. I know some people have said, he's getting kind of older now.
They might,
Wesley Snipes
cast
wasn't
a new
exactly
Blade, bro.
super young when he did Blade. I think they could still do it with him. I think it just comes down to, does he still want to do it with Marvel Studios? But let me know your thoughts about that. Then we have Black Panther 3, official date December 15th, 2028. David Johnson is playing our new Black Panther. He is playing T'Challa Jr., based on what we know. He is T'Challa Jr., the same one that we saw in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever post-credit scene. The biggest question we have about this right now is how is this time jump going to work? Because he was a little kid in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now all of a sudden he's going to be late 20s, 30s, adult, full-grown T'Challa Jr. Black Panther. I'm sure Doomsday and Secret Wars are going to give us something with the multiverse with time that kind of throws him up, grows him, to where he's a grown-up now. We'll have to wait and see. But we do have a new Black Panther. Black Panther 3 is coming, and of course we know that Denzel Washington is going to be a part of that. And we have heard that both Ghost Rider and Black Panther are going to appear in Avengers Secret Wars. That's what a lot of insiders are saying. It's not confirmed, but that's what a lot of insiders are saying, and it makes sense because we also have heard that a lot of the new X-Men are going to appear either in Avengers Doomsday and or Secret Wars. They're starting the new universe before you really get to it, which makes sense. Unless Secret Wars really takes place in the new universe, which I think it might, then that also explains why we have those other characters. So Black Panther 3, December 15th, 2028. Then we have some confirmed projects that don't have official release dates yet. And of course, one is the X-Men. Now, we actually think this is probably coming early 2028, but until Marvel confirms it, we really don't know. But of course, Jake Schreier is directing it. They've got some really great writers attached to it. It sounds like they've cast some X-Men already. In fact, we know that they've cast some X-Men already. Things are getting really, really exciting. They have a really great script that is completely different than what they were planning originally, apparently. But we know because Kevin Feige and Jake Schreier have told us this is going to be a young X-Men team. It looks like Samara Weaving has just been cast as Emma Frost. Right now we know that they're casting for Cyclops. Looks like they've cast Beast and Rogue, and it looks like they're going to do an X-Men First Class with, more characters. And obviously you got to get Professor X and Magneto. Maybe Mr. Sinister is going to be the villain. We don't really know. Maybe Emma Frost is going to be the villain at first, and then, she goes on to teach and be part of the X-Men.
Sinister will be a
the X-Men
good
movie
villain for this.
mostly is going to be a younger cast, and they're going to be around for a really long time in the MCU. I mean, look at where we're at right now in the MCU. Look at where Robert Downey Jr. started as Iron Man. It's been a really long time, and it's been awesome. So these characters are going to be around for 15 plus years. We can't wait to see the X-Men movie. Then we have, and I'm so glad it was confirmed, Shang-Chi 2. They confirmed this because Destin Daniel Cretton, who is the...
I wanted the word cuppa, as in cup of tea, I thought it would be great to mix with hug. When I saw the domain was...
The director of Shang-Chi 1, who also just directed Spider-Man Brand New Day, in interviews did confirm Shang-Chi 2 is still happening. They're going to do that. And of course, Shang-Chi is appearing in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. They had planned this for a very long time, and even in the post-credit scenes and towards the end of Shang-Chi 2, they set up a lot to happen, especially with the sister and the Ten Rings organization, and then him being a part of the Avengers team, which we see in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So a lot was planned, and it's still happening, which is great. So Shang-Chi 2. Nova. At first, it was announced that Nova was going to be a series. It was actually confirmed by head of Marvel Television, Brad Winderbaum. They were working on a Nova series. I was like, okay, I like this because we're getting Nova, but I also thought at the same time, man, I wish it was a movie. Then we heard that Michael Waldron was actually going to be writing the series, but then Kevin Feige confirmed in an interview with Brandon Davis, it's a movie. It is indeed a movie. So, super excited for that. Michael Waldron wrote Loki Season 1. He wrote Multiverse of Madness, and he's currently helping write both new Avengers films, Doomsday and Secret Wars. So I'm super excited for that. Ryan Gosling, we know, was one of the front runners to play Nova, and now he's playing Ghost Rider because he wanted to play Ghost Rider. So I wonder who they have in mind to play Nova. Now, Wonder Man Season 2, you might not have heard, that was recently canceled. They recently announced it. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II actually, commented on it. He's still in the MCU, right? He still could appear in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. I just think because the first season was successful, and I actually quite enjoyed it. Surprisingly, I enjoyed it because it was a very different style than really anything we've gotten before with the MCU, but I did like it. And I really like him as Wonder Man. So there probably are still plans for him to appear in some Avengers films and later on in the new MCU. We'll have to wait and see. But sadly, right now, we're not getting a Season 2 after it was already announced that we are getting a Season 2. It has been canceled. And last but not least, I know people are going to be excited about this, but they're going to be questioning what's going on in Deadpool 4. Ryan Reynolds confirmed this, so did Marvel President Kevin Feige. So it's happening. Ryan Reynolds has already teased that it's an ensemble film, so maybe it can have some new X-Men. Maybe it's going to be X-Force. We're unsure at this point in time. Will Wolverine be back with him again? Because we've heard that Marvel might not want to...
Dude, I just had a thought. He could actually do the X-Force because you know that they're actually casting in this X-Men thing. They're casting the majority of the characters that's in the TV series right now.
cast a new Wolverine for a very long time. So is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine going to just be chilling with the new X-Men, or is he going to be off with Deadpool again, getting involved into, with some shenanigans, which I think a lot of people would probably like to see. I loved Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's see what Deadpool 4 has in store for us. And those are the projects that Marvel Studios has.
Like, look, let me show you. So 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 in the X Force, right? The X Force, they have in the one that we know that's a thing. Listen, this video. This is the current set of the series. Right? Which I'm gonna start watching it again. Like later on today, I'm probably gonna actually, cause I'm currently watching The Mandalorian right now. But I'm about to start watching this.
The second season of X-Men 97 has dropped. Oh boy, because I can't keep calm because they finally brought in the X-Force. See, we all love X-Men and the team basks in the glory of their achievements. And over time, they've become the defining faces of what heroes are, protecting people in the face of danger while using restrained force. But X-Force? They don't know what toning down their methods means. They are unapologetically aggressive, and are treated more as the black sheep.
This is not helping. But the X-Force in Deadpool 2, if you ever watched Deadpool 2, the X-Force was basically, they added on Cable. But they had, I think her name was Jinx, and somebody else. The other girl who was part of the X-Men, who was actually part of the X-Men at the time. She had a buzz cut in Deadpool 2. Jinx, her, and I forgot his name, but he was made out of silver. I think he was actually X-Men. And Deadpool was quote unquote added into there. But if they make that X-Force, they have to cast those characters, because they cannot bring those characters back, because like I said before, they're introducing these new characters, these repackaged characters in the X-Men and stuff like that, and Fantastic Four. They're starting now. And Secret Wars is going to, it's like a flower. Everybody's right here. Everybody's going to come out. So they want to make sure that they introduce these characters now before anything. So if Deadpool, the rumor with Deadpool though, with Deadpool 4, that they was going to do the same thing what they did with Hugh Jackman. They was going to do Deadpool and Spider-Man. But mind you, Hugh Jackman wants to do this even more now. Because mind you, look at this, in Doomsday, it's going to start something with the worlds. They're going to take out one, they're going to take out another one, and it's going to form something else. It's going to form a new universe where all the heroes are on one. And that's the reason why in the future films, TV series is going to be the best thing that you've ever seen. Because look, anybody can show up. If the Fantastic Four has an issue, anybody from the Avengers or X-Men can show up. If the X-Men has an issue, anybody can show up on them. The solo films, anybody can show up on them. The fact that we're not, this is probably going to be, yeah, we're going to keep Sam as Captain America. The Thunderbolts are probably not going to be a thing as much, and everybody else is not going to be as a factor, because if they recasting in a way that they kind of recasting stuff, it's going to show how much people will know. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I think it's a perfect time to introduce X-Force, just to add another team into the situation now. Because look, if Daredevil season Born Again season 3, if it's like that, we might actually see anybody who can show up in New York. Might see Miss Marvel, might see Kate, might see somebody from what's the word? Might see somebody from the new Avengers. Might see Bucky show up and Daredevil, bro. That is so many possibilities now. Between actually, somebody might show up that asks Daredevil to fight. Like, even though Daredevil, if you get, without me saying too much, that's the reason why in Spider-Man, a lot of people believe in Spider-Man in that one scene with him going to that prison, and we saw him like shooting at the argentic webs, and the hand was getting caught up in it. Everybody's saying that was like the dark site where they keep villains at, kinda. Even though we got the Wrath is like at a dark site where they keeping Mr. Blue. They keeping all of the Defenders villains in that. Like, here, let me see something. Let's see.
Told you were gonna lose that bet.
You want to know what's funny?
I'm not in the mood for your jokes. You killed a lot of good men trying to get your revenge. Trust me, we don't share the same sense of humor.
We share the same world, don't we? This world you would die to save. It's coming. I've seen it in the probabilities, seen it plain as day. All you heroes protecting this world. Do you think you're the only ones? Do you think this is the only world? We'll see what happens when you have to protect this place. from the others.
Oh shit. See the see I watch movies and I watch them over and over again. You heard what you just said, like what he's basically saying, what are you going to do when you have to protect the world from others? That's the reason why in Doomsday you see Gambit and Shang-Chi fighting, and they're fighting either in the school of the gifted, which is X-Men, and not current X-Men, O2 X-Men. You see Cyclops going against, like, their worlds collided, gave us the fight of like Gambit and Shang-Chi, Nightcrawler and who was it? Because I know in the comic book it was Shang-Chi, Gambit, Cyclops, and Captain America, and I'm talking about Sam, like who we just saw. Him. I know Nightcrawler fights against somebody, and I know Beast fights against somebody. And that's the reason why they're fighting. Just from this line, it tells you everything. Like, Mr. Blue knows a lot, so that's kind of cool. But they are, look at this, where they are at, this is the raft that they introduced in Civil War when Captain America and Bucky went to, I would say, Russia. They went to Russia, and Captain America, Vision, whoever else, they captured them, captured Wanda, him, Ant-Man, and they put them in the raft. The raft is far away, it's on water. Raft. And technically, in the comic book, Richard Reed builds this, but they kind of switched the story. So, in this raft, and Civil War, they put one of them collars. We're going to see that collar again. And this is the reason why I say watch that and watch Deadpool 2 and watch Days of Future Past and watch the new Spider-Man. Because in the new Spider-Man, Parker builds something that's similar to the collar, but he couldn't get it onto the Hulk. But the collar is a big thing. Because they put it on Wanda and Wanda couldn't do anything. It made her like look sick. Like very, very sick, like dying. Because she couldn't use her powers. But this raft, fast forward to right now, you got Mr. Blue, which showed in the Incredible Hulk movie. With Ed Norton, he's captured there. There's a rumor that Zemo is in there because Black Panther put him in there. In Civil War, and like he already said, oh, you got, like it's at that movie at the end of Civil War, Black Panther already said you got what you wanted with Iron Man and Captain America fighting each other, like straight up killing each other at that point. You got what you wanted, now it's time to take my life. Black Panther said, no, I can save you. He put him in the jail. Even though we didn't hear him talk. He's there. and rest of the secondary villains that are part of Defenders are there too. Like the villain who was in Jessica Jones, who had the podcast. If you ever watched the Disney Plus series, old girl who had a podcast, she's there. If you ever saw Luke Cage, the villain is there. Iron Fist, villain's there. Uh, Zemo, Mr. Blue, and those characters are there. All those characters that I just mentioned, they're there. We just don't hear them. They kind of doing the same thing that they did with the Joker, with us seeing Riddler get arrested, and you just hear Joker's voice. Because they are going in the DC universe, that they are going to give us Joker. We got a new Joker, and this one, I like the acting so much. But with this, if they did that and they had Zemo talking or had somebody else talking, because look, the reason why we don't like, we just see them talking and that's it. What if we heard somebody else talk? Instead of like, are you serious? That would be crazy because, like, mind you, Mr. Blue can see and calculate a lot of things. That's the reason why I said that movie is so important to watch. Like I said, look what he says, bro.
It's when you have to protect this place from the others.
But the one thing is, with him saying, what the hell? With him saying that, we kind of already know what's about to get ready to happen. Like, we've seen it.
Now we got to go help people customize and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual.
See, I can talk about
Maybe
this for
where's the golf
days,
cart?
but I'm not about to do that.
Yes, we expected these scenes to set up Avengers Doomsday, but what if I told you these scenes did as well? I'm Eric Voss of the New Rockstars channel, and do MCU post-credit scenes even matter anymore? Are all of these mid-credit scenes mid? Yes, these franchise hype builders served Marvel Studios quite well during the heyday of the Infinity Saga, but since Avengers Endgame, the studio has released 22 to 24 post-credit scenes, depending on how you count them, and somewhere around the time that guy from Ted Lasso showed up as Hercules, a general skepticism began to take hold among certain Marvel viewers who worry that Marvel Studios, whose multiverse saga has been plagued with delays, creative retooling, and what some consider to be a desperate back-to-formula approach for Avengers Doomsday, could ever actually deliver answers to the promise.
Now, that's something else that people... I can say this, and it's not going to be a spoiler, right? If you haven't seen Spider-Man, there was some rumors, and a lot of people are really analyzing this movie, saying that they kind of introduced 3 new characters within Brand New Day. Actually, wait. I want to say 4. In Homecoming, there was an Asian girl who's supposed to be another version of Spider-Man, but not really Spider-Man. But now they're going to introduce her again. In the trailer of Brand New Day, in Bruce Banner's class before Peter Parker walked in, there was somebody that's trying to ask a question about the whole thing about what happened with the blip and with Thanos and like the reason why things went down the way that it went down. That's Sydney. Sydney is another version of Spider-Man in the comic books. So that's one. That's a character that they started to introduce. And they kind of introduce another character that could be Gwen, but they are trying to make it seem like this is the neighbor from Spider-Man 2 when Toby has a new apartment. He has a neighbor who actually liked him. They're saying that was Gwen. They are trying to push for that to be Gwen. Then at the party, no. And they trying to push for when Peter was trying to get a job with the Daily. There's a female who also who didn't know who he was, but once Peter changed to Spider-Man, she started liking Spider-Man. We might be getting at some point in time, probably not right away, or we might not ever get this ever again. That girl actually turns into Black Cat. Which, if you ever played the Spider-Man Insomnia games, you see Black Cat in that game. Then the other one was Harry. That was the most craziest thing that I ever heard, that they was going to bring a character that's going to be similar to Harry from Toby's and Andrew's Spider-Man, and they're gonna put that in Tom Holland, and I'm like, no.
Is posed by these 24 scenes. Well, in this video, I'm going to make the case that all of these scenes, when you actually revisit what happens in each of them and think about them in a retrospective context, they actually do connect in a shared narrative in order to tell the story of Avengers Doomsday. Not all of them were intentionally part of that story from the get-go, but the connections are there when you look back at them. And before we get into this, New Rockstars has our merch store, nerdriot.shop, with all kinds of great Avengers Doomsday inspired designs, like new Mask Same Task or Open Your Eyes, available exclusively at our merch store, nerdriot.shop. All right, before we begin with the multiverse saga, we really should acknowledge at least one unresolved plot thread from a post-credit scene in the Infinity Saga, the post-credit scene of 2016's Doctor Strange. There's one mid-credit scene that's essentially a scene for Thor Ragnarok that was coming in the following year, 2017. Back then, these scenes really did a much better job setting up movies that would just be coming a year or less after the movie. But the post-credit scene catches up with Mordo and Jonathan Pangborn, Benjamin Bratt's character, and Pangborn's metalworking shop. We see sparks that at first seem like a sling ring portal, but it's actually a saw on his workbench. Mordo attacks Pangborn, stealing back Pangborn's powers, removing his gained ability to walk, and saying, "Too many sorcerers." We remember that, but we don't really talk about what else Mordo says here.
I've had a revelation. The true purpose of a sorcerer is to twist things out of their proper shape, stealing power, perverting nature, like you.
Dad, look! Dad, look, it's Spider-Man!
It's a really cool graffiti.
So from that to Too Many Sorcerers, we really did think Mordo would be a villain in the sequel, but then Scott Derrickson was replaced as director of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness with Sam Raimi, but there was still a scene in Sam Raimi's version of the movie that would have shown Mordo approaching the cabin of the Scarlet Witch, leading to his decapitation. We saw storyboard art for that scene, and even a glimpse of the scene was shown on a poster months before the movie came out, and that burnt orchard where Doctor Strange finds Wanda was actually the location of where that went down. That opening scene was going to be the payoff for Too Many Sorcerers. But the rest of Multiverse of Madness' movie never shows us the Mordo of the 616 universe. We only meet the Mordo of the 838 universe. I've always wanted Marvel to pick back up this Too Many Sorcerers scene with Mordo in a future Midnight Suns movie with Blade, Ghost Rider, and other characters. But I do think the scene is worth revisiting for its parallels to Doctor Doom and Doomsday. The whole idea that it's set in a kind of workshop or armory, the way Doomsday is going to open, and that we see a hooded sorcerer like the first time we see Doctor Doom, and that we learn the true purpose of a sorcerer, which very much aligns with how Doctor Doom is being described by the directors for Doomsday. A sorcerer. That magic that he taught himself to save his mother Cynthia is what gives Doctor Doom an edge over scientists like Reed Richards and Shuri and Bruce Banner. And I think we're going to see Sorcerer Doom steal power just like this in Doomsday from characters like God of Stories Loki. Now, of course, the other mid and post-credit scenes of the Infinity Saga were all resolved by the next movies of their series, with the arguable exception of the second post-credit scene of 2017's Thor Ragnarok, which showed Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster back on Sakaar saying that the political revolution on the planet ended in a tie.
Can't have a revolution without somebody to overthrow, so you're welcome. And it's a tie.
Now, this scene was not really intended to set up any future storyline, but I do think Taika Waititi did intend to resolve the Grandmaster story in Thor Love and Thunder in a scene where Gore the God Butcher would have butchered the Grandmaster, but that scene was removed. Okay, our first Multiverse Saga post-credit scene was truly Avengers Endgame. Yes, the movie's credits had no scene, but they did include this sound effect in the pings of a hammer. So at the time, the filmmakers said that this was meant to honor the way the MCU began, with Tony Stark hammering in a cave with a box of scraps in the 2008 Iron Man film. But since the announcement of the Avengers Endgame re-release coming this September 2026, which has since been titled Avengers Endgame Encore, promising a special teaser for Avengers Doomsday, I've been theorizing that the Russo brothers might plan to retcon that sound effect as the opening sounds of Avengers Doomsday, as we see Doctor Doom hammering in his Doomstat armory. Actually, a photo taken from the first day of the composers for Doomsday scoring the music of the movie showed the opening scene slug line on a screen in the background revealing interior Doomstat armory. If this theory is true, this post-credit scene moment of Avengers Endgame would count as the first post-credit scene setting up Doomsday directly. The next MCU film to release was 2019's Spider-Man Far From Home. The movie had two post-credit scenes, a mid-credit scene that revealed J.K. Simmons as this universe's J. Jonah Jameson, showing Team Mysterio's doctored footage that framed Peter and revealed Peter Parker as Spider-Man. The second scene reveals that Nick Fury and Maria Hill throughout that movie were actually Skrulls, Talos and Soren from Captain Marvel, and that the real Nick Fury was actually on a Skrull space station looking for his shoes. Now, the first scene was obviously resolved by Spider-Man No Way Home. It tied in with that movie's opening scene. But the second scene seemed to be setting up either Secret Invasion or the Marvels. The way I see it, the studio tends to use one of these scenes to set up future events, and the other scene to pay off some kind of running joke in the movie, something that's designed to more make us laugh rather than feel any kind of dread or anticipation. And I'll say that Peter having his identity so publicly revealed is really the first major event that leads to this character seeking Doctor Strange's help, the thing that ends up causing one of the first major incursions of the MCU. And obviously that incursion is going to matter a great deal to Doomsday. The next movie to look at is 2021's Black Widow. This movie's post-credit scene shows Yelena Belova at the grave of Natasha Romanoff, honoring her sister with the whistle that they shared. And then Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine shows up and gives Yelena a mission to kill Clint Barton. This really sets up Yelena's subplot in the 2021 Hawkeye series, but considering how important Yelena is to Avengers Doomsday and the importance of Val as kind of the Nick Fury of the new Avengers and their watchtower that we see in Doomsday, just don't be surprised if this whistle comes back, especially if Thor and Steve Rogers in Doomsday end up having to apologize to Yelena for their part in Natasha's death, the way Clint had to apologize. Like specifically in the Doomsday CinemaCon teaser, Thor specifically mentions warriors he's fought alongside who died in his speech to the other Marvel heroes, and he's referring in part to Natasha in a room where Yelena is currently standing. Next movie, 2021's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. In the first of these credit scenes, Shang-Chi and Katie bring the 10 rings to Wong in the Kamar-Taj Library. In a holo call with Bruce Banner and Carol Danvers, they all speculate what the 10 rings are. They're not vibranium, they're not any alien tech they've seen before, like from the Chitauri, and Banner says,
"The thermoluminescence indicates they're older than that. By a lot."
The first time you used the rings, we felt it in Kamar-Taj.
What is it?
A beacon.
They're sending a message.
A
message to wear.
Now, following this was another post-credit scene that teased Shang-Chi's sister Xialing taking over the Ten Rings organization. But the first scene was written and shot in early 2020, before Marvel Studios had even cast Kang for Quantumania and Kang's variant's earlier appearance in the Loki Season 1 finale. The movie ended up coming out in September 2021, a month after Jonathan Majors was announced. So the beacon in these rings really could have been a reference to anything. It could have been ancient Kang tech left in the past. It could have been cosmic tech from Offworld connected to the bangles that we see in Ms. Marvel in the Marvels. But I think because this scene was never really truly anchored to any specific future plot point, it can still connect to the incursions in Doctor Doom. The beacon in these rings could be a signal that this universe underwent another incursion event, the one caused by Wenwu opening the gate to the other dimension to allow the Dweller in Darkness to break through. A recurring pattern among all these scenes is characters dealing with the consequences of the laws of physics and reality being tampered with, both within a reality and both on the border between one reality and the other. And Shang-Chi was absolutely part of that trend, and arguably even more important than that.
That makes total sense now. Like, think about it. Even though we don't have Jonathan plays that role anymore, because whatever happened, because the situation he got himself into, what if that was kind of the reason behind Ant-Man Quantum Realm, or something that currently happened after this movie?
This was the first time after Endgame that the new Era Avengers lineup was presented. Hulk, Captain Marvel, Wong, Shang-Chi, they are all part of Sam Wilson's Avengers faction in Avengers Doomsday. And yeah, Shang-Chi is going to return in Doomsday. He uses these same 10 rings to fight Gambit in the X-Mansion. So yeah, this scene is absolutely worth remembering for that alone. Next movie, Eternals. The mid-credits scene of this movie introduces Patton Oswalt as Pip and Harry Styles as Eros, aka Star Fox, the Eternal of Titan, who's Thanos' brother, as he meets Thena, Makari, and Druig on their ship, offering to help find Cersei, Kingo, and Phastos, who were taken by judgment by Erishim.
Your friends are in big trouble, and we know where to find them.
Then the post-credit scene shows Dane Whitman finding the ebony blade with its box marked with the Latin phrase meaning "Death is my reward."
I have to try.
Dad, look! Dad, look, it's Spider-Man!
It's a really cool graffiti.
Told you.
Really?
Sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitman?
Ah, yes, the one and maybe only ever cameo by Mahershala Ali's Blade in the MCU. Do either of these scenes have any real significance to Doomsday? I won't lie to you, probably not. But I do think that Marvel Studios has future plans for the Celestials that this Eros scene totally hinted at. Like the recent season of X-Men 97 features both a variant of Kang the Conqueror and establishes that Apocalypse was motivated by Isan the Searcher. Remember the outcast Celestial who wielded the Power Stone in the flashbacks in 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy? After Captain America Brave New World, Marvel executive Nate Moore talked about how the corpse of the Celestial Tiamat, aka Celestial Island, was very important as, quote, the birthplace of adamantium in the 616 universe. So I think that dead Celestial, and maybe all Celestials, are going to be part of Dr. Doom's plan. Thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. When the weather is hot, everybody has a shorter fuse than normal. Being patient is hard when your shirt's stuck to your back with sweat, or when you can't sleep because of the heat. Of Madness. It included a shot of a screeching crow that was not in the movie, suggesting that this trailer was cut before the final round of reshoots and might have been selling us an earlier version of the movie that included Mordo's opening death scene. But the second post-credit scene revealed that Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock also teleported into the MCU, a teleportation that we saw in the post-credit scene of 2021's Venom Let There Be Carnage. Eddie was now catching up on all the Avengers superheroes in this universe and Thanos before Eddie and Venom ended up teleporting back to their home reality.
There was a billionaire. He had a tin suit and he could fly, right? And there was a really angry green man.
Hulk.
Hulk, tell me again about your purple alien that loves stones. Because I tell you what, man, aliens, they do not love stones.
We are drunk.
Sir, you have to pay the bill.
What is happening? No! No, we just got here! No, not again!
Oh.
Now, this scene was actually picked up in 2024's Venom: The Last Dance, but not this detail, a small piece of Venom goo left behind on the bar top in the 616 universe. Now, we saw a separate piece of goo back in Venom's universe, but that is a second goo. Its variant goo back in the 616 universe is still at large in the 616 universe. That's part of why there are still so many theories for Spider-Man: A Brand New Day that Venom could be a part of that story. But we're also expecting Tom Holland to don the black suit in Secret Wars, since the 1985 Secret Wars event was what led to the black suit Spider-Man for the first time ever, and that piece of Venom in the 616 universe of the MCU seems like the likeliest way he could end up getting that black suit. Next, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The ending of this film in retrospect remains somewhat confusing. The final scene shows Doctor Strange screaming as that third eye opens on his head, as the warnings from Wong that Strange dreamwalking into the corpse of his 617 Defender Strange and using the souls of the damned as his cloak of levitation might have resulted in another incursion that invited in another dreamwalking variant, i.e. Sinister Strange from that post-incursion universe. But in the mid-credit scene, Strange seems to be totally at peace again, and Charlize Theron appears as the sorceress Clea.
You caused an incursion, and we're gonna fix it. Unless you're afraid.
Not in the least.
So now it seems like Strange is at peace with his third eye and the possible link to his most evil variant. But yes, just the whole idea of incursions and Doctor Strange and Clea working together to fix them as they go into the dark dimension certainly feels like part of the Doomsday story, especially since the Multiverse of Madness screenwriter Michael Waldron is one of the two writers writing the shooting draft of Doomsday. But the fact that Doctor Strange seems to be at peace with what was an evil variant does lead many of us to theorize that Doctor Strange could end up being aligned with Doctor Doom's somewhat antagonistic mission in Doomsday, and that Clea can end up being one of his Black Priestesses. Now, Benedict Cumberbatch has not been officially confirmed to even be in the Doomsday cast, but ever since those set shares were shown back in March 2025, a lot of actors, including Chris Evans and Catherine Newton, have also been confirmed, and they were not initially on that list. And in an Easter Sunday Instagram post by Robert Downey Jr., it was implied that both Spider-Man and Doctor Strange will be among Doctor Doom's targets in Doomsday. Meanwhile, the second post-credit scene of Multiverse of Madness was, of course, the Pizza Papa scene.
It's over!
Yeah, of the two, that's obviously the jokey one, paying off the director's favorite on-screen collaborator, Bruce Campbell. Next, Thor: Love and Thunder. The first post-credit scene shows Zeus recovering from his injuries as he complains about the fallen status of gods.
They will fear us again when Thor Odinson falls from the sky. Do you understand me, Hercules? Do you understand me, my son?
Yes, Father.
I was once skeptical that Brett Goldstein's Hercules would ever return in Doomsday, and sure, that might be someone Marvel Studios is really saving for Secret Wars, but this talk from Zeus of Thor Odinson falling from the sky, yeah, that is something that happens in Doomsday in the CinemaCon trailer. And in the December teaser, we see Thor praying to Odin, asking his father to spare his daughter, Mistress Love, from the storm that Zeus, in this post-credit scene, complains that no one is praying to him for.
A child. A life untouched by the storm.
But the movie's second post-credit scene shows Jane Foster's soul arriving to Valhalla with Heimdall.
You, just you, building your app on base 44. Describe it. And it's real. One thought leads.
You are very welcome here to the land of the gods. Welcome to Valhalla.
I think this is the less likely to get addressed again, but Jane Foster is another one of the warriors who died fighting alongside Thor that he references in his Doomsday speech. So maybe Jane's blessing is gonna shine on Thor in some way in these coming battles. Next, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. This post-credit scene actually just comes shortly after the final title, and it shows Shuri on a beach in Haiti watching her funeral gown burn. Nakia approaches with her son, Shuri's nephew, Toussaint.
My mom says you're good at keeping secrets. Is that true?
Yes, I can keep a good secret.
Toussaint is my Haitian name.
Ogubani.
My name is Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa.
Interesting. So Shuri, in the Doomsday January teaser, references her duties versus King M'Baku's duties.
The king has his duties to prepare our people for the afterlife. I have mine.
The implication being that her duty is to protect Prince T'Challa, and maybe T'Challa's son, like the other kids that Dr. Doom seems to be targeting, is someone under threat in Doomsday. Now, in the months leading up to the release of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, there were some rumors of a post-credit scene for that movie that would have revealed Dr. Doom in the MCU. Concept art did leak, though apparently it was only ever just concept art, but apparently someone at the studio has been dreaming up a Dr. Doom Black Panther meetup. Next, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Oh boy. So this movie's post-credit scene was the biggest setup setup for the Avengers the Kang Dynasty version of the 5th Avengers movie before Marvel Studios swapped out Kang for Doom as the multiverse saga big bad. After Quantumania showed the exile of Kang the Conqueror in the Quantum Realm, defeated by Ant-Man, the mid-credit scene shows Jonathan Majors playing all of the Kang variants: Immortus, Pharaoh Rama Tut, Scarlet Centurion, and thousands of others in the Council of Kang's arena.
They're beginning to touch the multiverse, and if we let them, they will take everything we've built. So let's stop wasting time. We're late.
How many did you call?
All of us.
The fact that Marvel Studios here decided that one actor would play all of the Kang variants might be one of the biggest mistakes the studio has ever made, because when some issues went down with that one actor, they basically had to scrap their entire plan, because Marvel Studios is committed to this rule where you can't recast people. And since Marvel Studios retooled the 5th Avengers movie from being Avengers the Kang Dynasty directed by Destin Daniel Cretton to Avengers Doomsday directed by the Russo brothers, I really don't expect to see these Kangs in particular in Doomsday. If you really want to see a hypothetical of what that would have looked like, there have been some AI videos imagining what it would look like to watch Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom vaporize all of these Kangs. Marvel Studios probably won't do that because it would mean having to credit and pay for Jonathan Majors to appear in Avengers Doomsday, and that cast is already pretty packed as it is, and they don't want to resurrect the memory of all the awkward retooling they had to do. However, with Paul Rudd's Ant-Man and Catherine Newton's Cassie Lang confirmed to be in Avengers Doomsday, some reference to what they faced in Quantumania has to come up, even if they don't reference Kang by name. And again, in X-Men 97, they're not afraid to reference Kang by name there. If it's just a quick name of a multiversal conqueror that has gone by many names, I won't be surprised if when Dr. Doom walks through the TVA, that there's just some reference to some past multiversal conqueror that this Dr. Doom has now replaced. Of course, the second post-credit scene for Quantumania was really just a trailer for Loki's second season, a scene from the 3rd episode that showed Victor Timely at the 1893 World's Fair. Next, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. 2 post-credit scenes for this movie, one showing the new Guardians of the Galaxy, Rocket, King Groot, Kraglin, Cosmo, Adam Warlock, Phyla-Vell, and Blurp defending a village of Krylorians. The second post-credit scene shows Peter Quill with his grandfather back on Earth eating cereal, but the final title confirms that the legendary Star-Lord will return. Seemed like James Gunn wrapped up his Guardians trilogy neatly, but this final title suggests that Marvel Studios still wants to bring back Chris Pratt in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. After all, Peter Quill is the only Guardian who is on Earth at the time of the incursions in Doomsday, and there was concept art showing Peter Quill with some of the young Avengers. Though again, that was just concept art, maybe that's something we see in Secret Wars. Next, the Marvels. Weirdly, people forget this post-credit scene's importance, but it shows us our first Fox X-Men actor confirmed for Doomsday, Kelsey Grammer as Hank McCoy Beast.
You somehow crossed through a tear in space-time. You are now in a reality parallel to your own.
Monica Rambeau had gone through an incursion rift in reality to the Fox X-Men universe of Earth 10005, the same universe where much of Doomsday is set. Maria Rambeau is binary there, and Hank references a Professor X.
Charles asked for an update.
This is the incursion rift that went from the 616 universe to the 10005 universe, which brings us to Deadpool and Wolverine. This movie had the incursion rift from the other direction, from Earth 10005 to Earth 616. That happened when Deadpool used Cable's device to go to the 616 universe and try to join the Avengers there while talking to Happy Hogan. This movie's post-credit scene at first comes off as just a jokey one, as Deadpool reveals the video evidence in the TVA that Johnny Storm in The Void actually did say all of the insulting things about Cassandra Nova that ended up getting him killed. But the background detail in the TVA shows that Gambit is still alive in The Void, and a digital release of that scene shows that Gambit is getting rescued by a sling ring portal. So that clip confirms how Gambit joins the other X-Men and Avengers Doomsday, and it also suggests that Deadpool might be in this film as well, since he would have been needed for that rescue. Next, Captain America Brave New World. This movie's
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. First, go to Riverside and open an account. When you're ready to record.
This movie's post-credit scene shows the leader of the OG Avengers, Sam Wilson, Captain America, for the first time getting clued into the coming Doomsday events. In the Raft prison, the leader, Samuel Stearns, tells Sam Wilson about the probabilities he has calculated in his head.
We share the same world, don't we? This world you would die to save. It's coming. I've seen it in the probabilities, seen it plain as day. All you heroes protecting this world. Do you think you're the only ones? Do you think this is the only world? We'll see what happens when you have to protect this place from the others.
We don't know if Stearns' use of the word others refers to other heroes or other worlds, but the idea is the same. He is readying Sam Wilson to have to fight to protect his world from heroes fighting to protect their worlds, referring to 2 other worlds that will collide with 616. Next, Thunderbolts. So this movie has 2 post-credit scenes. First, a jokey mid-credit scene that shows Alexei Shostakov in a grocery store posing next to his Wheaties boxes. But the second post-credit scene is legitimately a scene from Avengers Doomsday. It was shot by the Russo brothers. It's set in the new Avengers Tower 14 months after Thunderbolts, as we learn the new Avengers are beefing with Sam Wilson's OG Avengers over copyright infringement, and we learn that there is a huge space crisis.
We're losing credibility.
Yeah, but we had very little to begin with.
And now there's this huge space crisis and no one's telling us about it.
We're running out of space already? It's impossible. This building is enormous. Hey? What?
Outer space.
That tells us that before they even knew the Fantastic Four ship was approaching, there was something else going on in space that other authorities on Earth were not filling them in on. I'm assuming that would be the arrival of another Earth through an incursion rift, specifically because the orangish lighting outside these windows matches the reddish-orange lighting that we see throughout the Doomsday CinemaCon teaser. Then, after running a threat analysis, the computer brings up this satellite image.
Satellite image populating. Extra-dimensional ship entering atmosphere.
Extra dimensional, what does that mean?
It's a cool ship.
The Doomsday CinemaCon trailer strongly suggests that on this ship will be the 4 members of the Fantastic Four, plus Herbie, plus Thor, plus Steve Rogers, who I've made a case in other videos might have ended Avengers Endgame when he went back in time by staying with Peggy Carter, ended up having his kid, and that was a new timeline that spawned off, creating the 828 universe. And that might actually have been Steve and his son James watching the Fantastic Four animated show in the second of the post-credit scenes of Fantastic Four First Steps. Which brings us to our final title here, Fantastic Four First Steps. There are 2 post-credit scenes here, the second of which I just talked about, where we see the Fantastic Four animated show that is watched by 2 people that looks like a father and son, might be Steve and his son James, might not be, but the first of these scenes is what so far most directly sets up Doomsday, as it shows us our first on-screen MCU depiction of Dr. Doom kneeling beside Franklin Richards in the Baxter Building, freaking out Mama Sue. Broken down the scene in a number of videos, from how Doom really wants Franklin's powers as a reality warper, to the deeper meaning of Sue and Franklin reading Eric Carle's The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and other books we see on the shelf about quantum theory and Schrodinger. But when you revisit all of these back to back, you do start to see a connective narrative thread here. Various Avengers tampering with the laws of physics in ways that fracture the barrier among realities, particularly among these 3 different Earths that draw those 3 Earths together, which requires us to see the origins of the X-Men in the MCU and the Fantastic Four and their own reality, a common theme of children of these heroes and Dr. Doom's interest in at least some of those kids, and overall an embrace of death and Judgment Day in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of like something, because now you kind of see Dr. Doom, he's going to think of them kids as a threat. Franklin, James, Kamala. Who else? Who else? Love. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? He's gonna see him as a threat. Everybody get ready to get off of here. I really appreciate you guys watching. I will be live tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Let's figure out what we're gonna talk about tomorrow, because it's Friday. But yeah, I'm still working on the stuff that I've been working on in terms of me. I'm still cooking. If you guys haven't known what I'm working on now, it's basically this. This is about to be the dopest thing that you ever seen. But yeah, I will be back tomorrow. I will be live tomorrow. Same time. Make sure you have notifications on. But I will see you guys tomorrow.